Yo, what's up everyone? Today we are talking about Mauricio Ruffy versus Rafael Fiziev. This is a banger fight, featured fight on the main card. Honestly, technically one of my favorite fights ever because both of these guys are so technically gifted on the feet, like with the kicks, with the strikes, the way they move even is beautiful. A lot of feints, a lot of everything. So very, very nice striking match. I feel like this is a match made in or from heaven, as they say. Striker's delight, although there might be some wrestling, some grappling involved here. But as we can see, I'm going to be doing a breakdown prediction, by the way, but as we can see, there's quite a bit of difference in terms of length here, right? You can see that Fiziev is putting his head up and still he's much shorter than Ruffy, but you can see his head is like quite bigger, bro, much bigger than Ruffy's. Like Fiziev's head's big, like thick. He can be knocked down. He has been knocked out as well early in his MMA career. And you see, even in back in 2019, he got spinning back kicked basically and finished, but that was like a picture perfect shot. Ruffy has been finished as well, once in the UFC, once outside of the UFC. He's 12-2, both losses being finishes. He's been knocked out in his previous loss, not the one against BSD, but the one before against Manuel Costa or Manuel Souza, who's now also in the UFC. Two good fighters, obviously, two very strong kickers with good power in the hands as well. I would say Fiziev's kicks are his main weapon. He has good hands, but definitely his kicks and his technicality on the feet are his main weapon. He can also wrestle, as he showed against Gaethje and also against Bahamondes. Fast kicks, very explosive, and he can also evade kicks really well, really nicely. Looks very flashy as well, the way he does it with the lean back. Very cool, very solid, very like a lot of aura farming in that regard. But let's look at their physiques. They just had their pictures taken yesterday. Look at this guy, beast, bro. I mean, Fiziev always looks amazing, but now you can see he's beefier now. Look at his arms, like the chest is bigger, the sides also. He's just thicker. This is kind of sus talking about this, but you have to talk about the physiques of fighters if you are talking about fighting. This guy's always looked amazing, but now he's even beefier. He's much bigger. Or maybe not much, but he's significantly bigger. Let's keep it at this. And that's not necessarily something I like. That's something I dislike, even in a guy that should be fast, that should be explosive. Because you might be explosive for half a minute if you're like bulked up, but after that, like the explosiveness goes away, the speed goes away, you get tired. You lose your speed, you lose your endurance. I don't like him being much bigger than he already is, although he was on the smaller side of lightweight because he's short. He's 5'8", but still he's like a thick 5'8". He's bigger than Topuria, for example, I reckon. So I don't know if I really like this one because it will also make the cut a bit heavier. It's overall, I feel like if you want to be the fastest striker, you don't want to have that much muscle because you want to be the fastest striker at the end of the fight as well. Overall, the hair looks great. Looks like almost looks like Prime Ragnar, but his hair, like Fiziev says, curly, so not quite. But let's look at Mauricio Ruffy. Looks good. I don't like his haircut though. Like besides the breakdown, I really don't like this haircut for him. He looks like this basic ass like high schooler, you know what I mean? With like the fluffy hair or whatever they call it. I don't like this haircut for him at all. I like the straight hair for him, or at least not as long. It just doesn't suit him, but that's random. He looks good, in good shape. He looked in great shape in Paris as well, so there's no issues there. There weren't any issues last time, but from what I did hear is that his weight cut was kind of hard, very hard in Paris. I heard it from coaches there. I was there myself, so maybe that was an issue. I'm not too sure. I can't really pinpoint whatever, but he didn't look like himself in there, but also kind of did. because we've seen that he struggles with guys like BSD. That's exactly what happened there, but I did feel like he could have done much more. I feel like he left something in there. Maybe there were some mental issues, mental struggles, and since then he's changed gyms. He says like Australia is my home now. He is not training with the fighting nurse anymore. He's training in Australia now with Volk, which is a very good team, so I don't mind it. His wife is also American, so the English isn't going to be a big problem. He's been learning a bit of English as well, so I don't think that's an issue. I just don't know how fast you can get comfortable there. If that's not an issue for him, then perfect, that's fine. But I don't like the fact that he's going to like changing gyms right as he loses in the UFC ones. This doesn't send the right message for me, but like he looks good physically, he looks great. So let's look at some of the numbers, right? This is going to be mostly a striking fight, right? We know this. So let's look at some of the numbers. Mauricio Ruffy, 5'11". He's taller, 3 inches taller. He will have 4-inch reach advantage in the arm. In the arms, he's an orthodox fighter, 3 years younger than Fiziev. A 4-1 in the UFC, or 3-1 in the UFC, and a 4-1. Including Dana White Contender Series, where he had a comeback win. He was losing pretty badly, and then came back with 15 seconds left. He beat Jamie Mullarkey fairly easily. Very easily. Yontop, that was a very tough fight for him because he was throwing hard, trying to get him out of there. Was not the case. Like, he could not get him out of there as quick as he thought. And I feel like that chipped away at his cardio a bit, and he got outstruck pretty significantly. He did win rounds 1 and 2, but man, this is not a good look because Yontop is not a good fighter at all. He was just much bigger, which is why he was able to take the shots, because there was like a lot of short notice weight changes happening. So it makes sense, but still not a good look. Because even if you don't knock him out, you didn't have that crazy weight cut. You could have at least won the third round as well. But he lost the third round pretty significantly. And at some points, there were even some, like, you were looking at it, were like, oh shit, maybe he's getting too tired. He was very tired in the end of round 3. So not a good look. Then obviously beautiful knockout over King Green, 4-4 on strikes, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, Ruffy did exactly what he wanted to do him. The strikes don't count and nothing. Beautiful feints, and then a beautiful roundhouse, or not the roundhouse, spinning heel kick right to the side of the head. Knockout, beautiful. Now this is where my problem lies, right? 5 strikes in total. 5 strikes in total over 1.5 rounds. I know that Benoit got a few takedowns, but there was a few minutes of them on the feet. Listen, there was, look at this, 4 minutes and 38 seconds of control time. There was 7 or 8 minutes of them fighting in total. Here it says 6 total strikes and then 5 significant. That's crazy. He threw 18 strikes. That's. I know BSD is like a marauder. He goes forward, but come on, 6 strikes. That's not a good look. If he gets pressured, that's a problem for him. And we think of Ruffy like this guy that hits and doesn't get hit, right? But that's not the case at all. Look at this. Strikes landed per minute, less than 4. 384. Striking accuracy is beautiful at 57, but strikes absorbed per minute, 4.16. This is a difference of 16 plus 16, 0.32. That's not great. That's not great at all. 84% takedown defense, yes, but he got cooked by BSD. The second he fought a good grappler, good wrestler, he got cooked. So not a good look at all. Not a good look at all. And as I said, he got outstruck by Yontop. Against Magomed Aliyev was very close. Against Mullarkey, he got hit 14 times by Mullarkey. It's kind of crazy to me. Benoit Saint-Denis outstruck him heavily. Takedowns, submitted him then as well. Now let's look at Rafael Fiziev. Much better competition too. Let's look at that as well, right? 5'8", so 3 inches shorter, 4 inches in reach disadvantage. He's a switch stance fighter. Let's look at the strikes land per minute because we just talked about it with Ruffy, 477, 477. But let's look at who's he been fighting. Ignacio Bahamondes is better striker than anyone Ruffy has faced, like probably ever. Gaethje, same thing goes for him, right? Gaethje would probably cook BSD, but maybe not. It would be a finish for sure. I don't know which way though. The Gamrot fight against a tricky wrestler still outstruck him, and then the injury happened, so I don't even want to count this fight. Then once again, Gaethje, very close fight. A lot of people thought that he won that fight. Then Rafael dos Anjos. Oh, I didn't even do that on purpose. Anyway, Brad Riddell, prime Brad Riddell was a beast, bro. Then this is not a good performance against King Green, but he still won that convincingly. Then, like, you can see the case. He was just getting into it, like in his groove against Alex White and Mark Diakese. So, you know, overall, he's fought the much better levels of competition, and he has, held his own. Two losses against Justin Gaethje, who seems to just be a very hard matchup for him. A guy that has a lot of power, wants to get into in your chest. Completely different style than Mauricio Ruffy. This is going to be technical fight, right? This is going to be technical fight with a lot of kicks, a lot of punches, but then from the outside, a lot of feints, a lot of technical stuff. Now, when has Rafael Fiziev lost a technical fight? I cannot remember when he has. He's lost twice in the UFC. We don't count or 3 times in the UFC. We don't count the Gamrot one. It's just because he got caught early, or he fought Justin Gaethje. And one of those times, honestly, I thought he won. So then he beats Ignacio Bahamondes, who you could say is a very similar style matchup to Ruffy. Well, not completely, but in terms of he's much taller, he's a big kicker, he has striking, he struggles with the wrestling. Fiziev did to him whatever he wanted, like 4 takedowns even, like took him down whenever he wanted, controlled the distance, even though Bahamondes is much taller. He's 6'3", same reach as Ruffy, so I don't see this being a big problem for him in terms of, oh, but Ruffy's so much taller, he has all the success on the feet when it's technical and when it's from a distance, I think that Fiziev is the better striker. I think that he won't have problems with the kicks of Ruffy because he rarely ever has problems with those. The boxing, that might be a problem, but Fiziev can allow himself to pressure Ruffy and go for some of his takedowns himself. I think that's what he's going to be doing. After a minute or 2 or 3, maybe to seal the rounds, I think that would be smart in close rounds, because I do think that these rounds will be close. I think round 1 might go to Ruffy, and then from 2 and 3, Fiziev will take over 29-28 decision. Listen, I think people are underrating Fiziev. He was a favorite for some time now. He's an underdog, probably because they look at the size difference and everything, but I don't think that matters too much, because on the feet, on distance, in the distance striking, I feel like Fiziev is one of the best in the UFC, if not, I don't want to say the best, but definitely one of the best, top 10 in the UFC for sure. Ruffy is close, but I would say that Fiziev gets it done. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.